What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Twin Wrestle Pod. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Now, let's get into our Saturday night's main event predictions, shall we? We're gonna kick this off with our first matchup. We have Solo Sikoa defending his United States Championship against his older brother Jimmy Uso. And before I start, I might make a separate video on this, so I'm gonna touch on it a little bit here. A lot of discourse about, because I had a friend tell me about this earlier. A lot of discourse about this show not being billed or WWE shows not being billed over these last few PLEs. We all knew this was going to happen because we knew every PLE after pretty much WrestleMania was going to be 2 weeks apart, whether it's Backlash, whether it's King and Queen of the Ring, whether it's Money in the Bank, whether it's Night of Champions, whether it's Saturday Night's main event, and countless amount of Saturday Night's main events in between time. We knew that the bills were going to be fairly small, so people making that like a discourse about these events, it's just jarring to me when we already knew what we were stepping into ahead of time. I don't get that, but it is what it is. Let's talk about Saturday Night's main event. At this point, we've had at least about 4, maybe 5 Saturday Night's main event at this point, dating back to December. So we know what these shows are when WWE puts these on NBC, on Peacock. We know what these shows are designated for. They normally have 4 to 5 matches, 5 if you're lucky, 4 at the minimum. And it's pretty much like a glorified house show, or just like a regular Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, or an NXT show, if you will, right? Just pretty much like a weekly show, just on a Saturday. So we know what we get and know what to expect out of these shows. We rarely see anything big. I think the last biggest thing we did see was probably the return of Bronson Reed in that tag team matchup with Sammy and Punk taking on Braun and Rollins. Outside of that, we really haven't seen anything like super big when it comes to these shows. So we know the formula at this point. With that being said, let's just jump into this matchup. As I said earlier, we have Solo Sikoa defending his United States Championship against his older brother, Jimmy Uso. This match was just made yesterday, I believe, by Nick Aldis. The build with this match really it all surrounds around Jacob Fatu and Solo becoming the U.S. champ and his new bloodline, which you're naming his MFT, I think it was My Family Tree, I think that's what it's called. With the now new addition of what's Hikuleo's name, Tonga Tola or something like that. Tonga Tola, the return of Tongaloa, the eventual return of Tama Tonga, and then JC Mateo going up against Jacob Fatu, and Jacob having Jimmy Uso come to his aid over the past couple weeks. So they just put this in there so we can have this match between Solo and Jimmy. I'm taking Solo on this matchup. He's not going to lose that championship after just winning it at Night of Champions over Jacob Fatu. He's not going to lose it in his pretty much first title defense. So I'm going to take a Solo here. We might see the return of Tama Tonga here. I don't know what his injury was and don't know the timetable of it. So it's hard to tell, but I would say this is probably an early indicator we might see him tonight or Saturday night's main event. So I'm taking Solo there. Next up, man, we have Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. These two have an storied history going back to the pandemic. As we know, they had a bunch of matches for the WWE Championship during the pandemic era. I think they might have had a Hell in a Cell match, if I remember. Maybe a Last Man Standing. I know they had an ambulance match that was pretty good. But these two have a long, historic rivalry. Neither one of these men lose anything in losing. Drew McIntyre just came back, I want to say, like either last week or the week before. Randy Orton is just fresh off his loss against Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions, where he hesitated to punt Cody Rhodes and it cost him his opportunity to face John Cena for the WWE Championship. So Last time we seen Drew McIntyre was at this very event. He lost, I think, a steel cage match against Damian Priest, and Damian Priest took him out with the concerto at the end of it, if I remember. So this is a very fresh matchup. It's a very hard matchup to predict. But being that neither guy lose anything in losing this matchup, Drew McIntyre needs this win. Being that this is going to be his first glimpse of action that we see. So I'm taking Drew McIntyre, and yet another loss for Randy Orton will proceed. But enough character work done going forward. We're going to see a monumental change in Randy Orton. So this just further descending him down a rabbit hole of madness, if you will. Taking Drew McIntyre for the win. And we need him to go out to that WWE Championship after SummerSlam. So this is going to be one way to build that up once Cody do beat John Cena at SummerSlam. Next up, we have LA Knight versus Seth freaking Rollins. Now, this match has been building all the way to pretty much Money in the Bank, really. I don't know what Seth's group is called, but Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed cost LA Knight his matchup, and then LA Knight proceeding to cost him Braun Breaker his matchup the following Monday, and vice versa. So they just been going back and forth until Bronson Reed ended up taking out LA Knight with, I think, 3 tsunami splashes. Took him out of action for about a week. LA Knight came back, I think the Monday before last, and he attacked Seth Rollins. And he had an interview where he said, I took all these tsunamis and I was only out 1 week. So now we get this matchup with LA Knight and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank. Hasn't lost a match yet. He beat Penta on Monday Night Raw this past Monday. And his groupers have all the momentum. They took out Sammy. They took out Jey Uso. And he beat Penta. So he's taking care of everybody who was in his way within his circle going after his group, including Roman Reigns, if you will. So Seth has all the momentum. This is a tough match to predict as well because LA Knight just came back, and I know it's rumored he's supposed to have a feud with Seth Rollins during the summer. But with the amount of help Seth Rollins has and LA Knight, the lack of help he has, you got to go Seth Rollins in this matchup. It'd be hard for me to see them do a DQ finish, but I wouldn't put it past Triple H for him to do so. With no winner and Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker attacking LA Knight before he can get the pinfall on Seth Rollins, and then that proceeds to bring out Penta again. You might see Jey Uso. You might not see Sammy. It might just be Penta and Jey Uso to even odds for LA Knight, and then they leave the crowd happy. So I don't know. Either I'm going to go Seth Rollins or I'm going to go with DQ finish. So I'm going to go with a DQ finish here. Because I don't think both men need to lose this match. LA Knight certainly returning. This don't need to be his first match losing. So I'll go to DQ finish here. Next up in our main event, we have Goldberg taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I must say this. I know a lot of people just want this match to be over and done with, sure. But out of respect for Goldberg, man, what he did for the business, and at a point in time, he was one of the biggest things in the business, bro. Like, literally. His likeness was on a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? Out of respect for him and what he did for pro wrestling, I won't take no to create a shit on this match or shit on anything that he's doing, because this is his last run. As he stated, this is his last stand, or Goldberg's last run, or whatever you want to call it. This is his retirement match. So out of respect for that, I'm not going to shit on this match or shit on anything Goldberg has done, because he's actually, outside of the wrestling business, he's one of those wrestlers where, like, he's a pretty cool fucking guy, right? Saturday's main event, man. We know what to expect. Like I said earlier on in the video, we know what kind of match to expect when it comes to Goldberg. 4, 5, 6 minute match. That's what Goldberg did. That's what he made his money. That's what he made his bread off of. Is those squash matches, those 6 minute matches. So I expect this to be the same, right? It's up in arms, people, with whether Goldberg is going to win the championship and get cashed on by Seth Rollins. I don't see that happening. I'm going to take Gunther in this match, and it's obvious, right? But it's like a pattern that we've been running into in terms of Gunther's matches. After he beat anyone, he shows them a sign of respect. I didn't watch his match with Jay on Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. I didn't watch that, so I don't know what happened after the ending of that. But going back to when he fought Pat McAfee at Backlash, he gave Pat McAfee a nod of respect, shook his hand, just because Pat McAfee went in there and went to war with him. Same thing when he lost to Cody last year at the King of the Ring. Went in there and shook Cody's hand. Gunther is one of those heels where he's going to give you your respect if you give him a respectable match in that ring. You give him all you got. And I see this going the same way. I see Goldberg going in there, doing Goldberg shit, maybe spear through barricade. Kind of like his match he had at WrestleMania 33 with Brock Lesnar, which was his best match since returning. That's the blueprint you should follow with a Goldberg matchup, right? But Goldberg coming into this matchup, he's a little hobble. He stated in numerous times in interviews that his knee is not 100%. You can tell when he first came back that first night, he was limping, walking down the ramp to confront Gunther. So we know he's not going in this match 100%. And I'm not thinking it's going to be along the lines of Goldberg versus Undertaker like we got in Saudi Arabia. It ain't that, because at that age, both of them dudes was not. Undertaker couldn't walk at that point, man. They was far past their prime. So that was a bad combination from the start. You had Gunther in there who is on top of his game, at the top of the game. So I don't see nothing like that happening. But I'm interested to see this match because this is the last run for Goldberg. So I'm interested. I will be glued to it. Because it's going to be the last time we see Goldberg in the ring, and much respect to what he did throughout his career in WCW, even in WWE when it wasn't even much. But respect to what he did for the wrestling atmosphere, man. But taking Gunther for the win here, and we get Goldberg in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, getting a standing ovation. Gunther giving him a handshake and leaving the ring to him. Showing him his respect. I hope the crowd show him his respect as well, and the people watching show him his respect for Will. So can't wait for it, man. That is my predictions on Saturday night's main event. I will be coming at y'all with AEW All In Evolution later today, so expect those videos as well. Maybe made it to this far, I appreciate you. Give it a thumbs up down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video, man.